indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor. I will honor those things which are good, true, and beautiful. Respect. I will show respect to others at all times. Service. I will do good things for others without being asked. Excellence. I will strive for excellence in all things. Perseverance. I will fulfill commitments and not give up or act on discouragement.
Great job, Alina. Thank you so much. Please join me for a moment of silence, boys and girls. Okay, boys and girls, well, let's get started on some spelling today. We'll do just a few phonograms, but spend most of our time on some spelling words. That will be on Friday's quiz. You all begin with writing the phonogram oo. Just oo. Oo. Looks like some of you are still getting your supplies out. Take out that whiteboard and marker and hold up ooh as soon as you are done. Marcus, I know it's tough early in the morning, but we've got to keep up with our assignments and make sure that you are writing the phonogram. Okay, I see quite a few people writing the OO phonogram, which is ooh, like book. This is a different one. Can you think of a phonogram that says just ooh? Great job, Kruthi. Ooh. Marcus, try your best. If any of you are ever confused, still write what you think it could be. What do you think of that makes an ooh sound? And then we can make corrections if needed. Very good. Okay, ooh like in fruit. I know for those of you who've been at the school for at least 2 or 3 years, we used to call it ooh, I, but it's just ooh. Emma, you are so close, but we're going to flip those letters. Ooh like fruit. Next, let's stick with that theme and do ooh, you that we do use at the end of English words. Ooh, you that we do use at the end of English words. And hold it up when you're done, please. Excellent job, Tig. Marcus, try your best. Think of what makes an ooh sound. I know you're newer to phonograms than the others in the class, but try your best, and then we'll make corrections if we need to. Great job, boys and girls. Rishith, try your best and hold it up when you're done. Oh, great word choice, Kruthi. Spew, like spewing out some water. That's a great one. So this is ooh, you that we do use at the end of English words. Next, write ooh, you that we do not use at the end of English words. Good job, Marcus. Yeah, that ooh, you, like in pew, pew, pew. Now write ooh, you that we would not use at the end of an English word. Like feud. Okay, very good. Deekshita, could you unmute yourself and say the rule for this one? What do we call this phonogram?
U that we don't use at the end of English words.
Great job. Arshab, could you unmute yourself and tell us what we call this phonogram?
OU that we do use at the end of English words.
You got it. Great job. Marcus, can you unmute yourself and tell us this one?
U-I-U.
Good. We're just going to call it ooh. Can you say just ooh?
Ew.
Yep, that's all. Okay, let's write one more phonogram to end up, which also says an ooh sound. Ooh, Ooh, In the middle of a word, this one is the most common. If you hear an ooh sound in the middle of a word. It also makes an sound though. Great job. That's a way to make it pretty interesting. Yep. Ooh, like book or tool. Great job. Arianch, could you tell us this phonogram?
I think it's called ooh.
We say ooh,
Ooh,
Good. The sound is in book. Can you all say like book? And you should really be like kind of pushing with your chest for that one. Think of like if you're punched in the stomach, kind of that sort of sound. Okay, that is all for phonograms. Great job for everybody. Let's move on to some spelling words. Please write the word dissension. Dissension. Try your best, write what you hear. And if we have corrections, we'll make them in a little bit. Dissension. I should see you mouthing the word, sounding it out as you write. Dissension. Dissension. Good. Tig, we're going to have a couple corrections for that word, but you did exactly the right thing in sounding it out and writing phonograms that would make those sounds. But we do have a couple of changes that we're going to make. Dissension. Which is like a disagreement or some unrest, some conflict. Okay, I see a lot of people are writing phonograms that do make these sounds, but not in this word. For dissension, it's going to be dis-sen. A lot of you are writing the SC pattern, which we've had in a lot of words, but it's not in this one. Dissension with another S in the sh phonogram. So a bunch of S's, dissension. Okay, write it correctly if you spelled it incorrectly before. That's a tough one. Dissension. Okay, good job. Excellent job for those of you who corrected it. Next, please write rendezvous. Do you remember how we think to spell this one? Does anybody remember? Samhita?
Rendezvous.
Excellent. Rendezvous. Please sound that out, boys and girls, as you write. Rendezvous. Write to what you hear. Rendezvous. Write what you hear. Once you remember that thing to spell, it's pretty simple. It should be pretty much what you hear. Great job. I'm still waiting for a few people to hold theirs up, but a lot of correct spellings. Ren, des, thus. Remember that adjective, us ending, we've seen a lot, like in mysterious, miscellaneous, that OUS pattern. When you hear us at the end of a word, an adjective, it should be that spelling pattern. Rendezvous. Rendezvous. That Z is silent, but we think of it being there. Next up, let's write kerosene. Kerosene. It's helpful to think of this one as kerosene. It sounds like it would be an A in that first syllable, but it's kerosene. Kerosene is the way you can think to spell this one. This comes from petroleum, petrol, and we're going to actually see that in our new spelling lesson today. Okay, kerosene. I see some of you wrote a C, but remember, if there was a C there, we would say cerosine. It would say a S sound when followed by an E. So we need a K. Kerosene. Kerosene. That was a tough one. If you made a mistake, that's okay. Just cross it out and rewrite it. That's why we do practice. Kerosene. Okay, let's do just one more. Combustible. Combustible. This sounds just like you think, or it's spelled just the way it sounds. Combustible. Combustible. Great job, Kruthi. Great job, Arianch. You are so close. Sahanasri, the last part, combustible. We're going to have an I there. Alexander, listen to the last part, combustible. What else do we need to add to the end? You got it? Your word should look like this, combustible. Right? Excellent job, boys and girls. We have a bunch of hard words in this lesson. In this whole list that's going to be on the quiz on Friday. So excellent job. We will probably try to work in a few other review times throughout the rest of this lesson or this class period even. So keep your whiteboard handy because we might pull it out in 30 minutes or an hour or so. Just to do a few more, because a lot of these need a lot of practice. Tig, what's your picture of?
That part from Home Alone where Kevin covers the thing in kerosene and then he sets it on fire when the two guys are climbing up.
Oh, I know that one makes me cringe every time I see it. Okay, boys and girls. Well, yep, like Marcus, you can do a little stretch break, and then we're going to take out our binder to write down some new words. Show me your binder so I can see that you are ready for the next lesson. We've got some other combustible words in this lesson, by the way, like kerosene. Remember that combustible means it can blow up. So we've got a few words to go with that today. Once again, I need you to take out your binder and show me that you have your binder, please. Marcus, make sure you're using that binder, not index cards, okay? Great. That's going to make it easier to fit everything neatly and then still keep it right there in your binder in case you need to look at your words again. Great job, Samhita. Okay, looks like you guys are ready for our new lesson. We've had quite a lot of hard words recently. Today's is a little easier, I would say. Our first word today is immediate. Would you all say immediate? Immediate. This one is probably quite a bit easier. I mean, one that you've heard of before and can use in a sentence. Who can say the word immediate in a sentence for me, please? Sanhita?
I mean, I could use immediately, but I don't know immediately.
Okay, you can use immediately in a sentence, turning it into an adverb.
Immediately, the boys started to run.
Good, which means right now. Ty, can you use just immediate in a sentence for us?
It's hard, but yeah, I can kind of. It's immediate.
Means it's right now. I'll give you one for myself that probably a lot of your parents relate with. When I wake up, I feel an immediate need for coffee. Do any of your parents have that? An immediate need for coffee.
Yes, one time I saw my mom drink 5 cups a day.
Ooh,
One time I saw my
definitely
mom
done that
drink
before.
5 cups in an hour.
In an hour, wow. So
Maybe
immediate
2.
means right now, without a hesitation. Okay, let's sound this out as immediate. What's that, Emma?
My mom always goes immediately to sleep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, some of you might fall asleep immediately. Like the second your head hits that pillow, you fall asleep. Can you all sound out the word immediate? Like I ate something. Immediate. 4 syllables. Try that again. I should see everybody's mouths moving. Immediate. 4 syllables. First syllable, and we're going to have a silent there to keep the vowel short. Next syllable, e. E isn't an open syllable saying its name. The next syllable, d-e. This time the e sound comes from I-e. Okay, so the first time is e saying its name, and then it's going to be I-e. And last syllable, ate. A-t. With the silent final e making a say its name. Sound it out with me, boys and girls. Immediate. Immediate. Pick up your pencil and write it, please. Marcus, I need you to wake up and really sound it out. That's going to help you. Immediate. Show me that your word is finished. Remember that we're going to start doing that from now on. Thank you, Tig. Thank you, Alexander and Emma. I should see everybody's words. It is not going to help you be a good speller if you wait to just see mine. You got to think about it on your own. Sound it out as you write. Great job. Okay. Syllable break. E, syllable break. E, syllable break. I see some of you forgot which one's going to be the E, which one's the I. A, t, silent final E. Immediate. Great job if you spelled it correctly. If you made any mistakes, that's okay. Just cross it out and rewrite it. I see some of you like switched these 2 letters. Could I have Tig mark the word for us?
Okay. Well, the first syllable, the M, is silent. And for the second syllable, the E is saying its name. Then the I is saying its third sound.
Correct. Good job. And remember that we pronounce it immediate.
There's a thinking cap above the A.
Perfect.
And with that, it's vowel, consonant, silent final E, job.
It's going to be a job 1. Even
Yeah,
though A doesn't
that's
end up
what
in this.
I guessed it right. Huzzah.
Good.
Huzzah.
Huzzah. Excellent work, Tig. Okay, boys and girls, this is an adjective, but if we wanted to use it as an adverb, we could just change it to immediately with that ly suffix. Okay, time for our next word. Our next word, oh, I lost track of that, is gasoline. Gasoline. We had petroleum, now we have gasoline, which you probably hear quite a bit more. Actually, we didn't have petroleum, we had kerosene, and now gasoline. So gasoline, like what you fill your car with, we think to spell gasoline. Can you all say gasoline? Sounds like gas is going through the line, gasoline. Sound it out with me. Gas-o-line. 3 syllables. The first syllable, gas, is basic code, just 1 S. Next syllable, O, is in an open syllable saying its name, gaso. Last syllable, line, L-I-N, with a silent final E, job 1, just like you would think. Pick up your pencil and write gasoline. Gasoline, and hold it up when you're done, please. Tig, you're doing great today. Thank you so much. You're staying right on track. Let me see everybody's gasoline. Rishith, can you hold that up one more time? It looked like you were about to. Great job, Alexander. Great job, Alina. Thank you so much, Rishith. Yes, Alexander?
It might not make sense, but it's gas saying so on a line.
Yeah,
So the gas
whatever.
is saying so on a line.
Great job. Yeah, I think it's helpful to have little things like that to remember it. Sahanasri and Arshad, thank you so much. Marcus, you have to write it. You cannot just sit and listen to this. That is not what we do in class. Okay? You are going to you're going to rock it. I want you to write every word when it's time to write. Okay? We're going to wait for you, Marcus. You don't want your classmates to wait too long, so let's write gasoline. Hold it up when you're done, please. Thank you so much, Marcus. Great job. Okay, let's check our spelling. Gas, O, line. Gasoline. Alexander, would you mark it for us?
Sure. Gas is basic syllable, right?
That's right.
So is basic.
O is saying its name, gaso.
And then double underline the E, job 1. I think.
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
And we're going to underline IN in that vowel consonant vowel pattern. But instead of saying gasoline, it says gasoline. So we'll also put a 3 on top. Okay. But that is the reason for the silent finally is that I. Gasoline is a noun. Okay, boys and girls, time for our next one. Now we've had gasoline. Now let's have petroleum. Would you all say petroleum? Petroleum is used to make things like kerosene and gasoline. So petroleum is the matter used for those liquids. You sometimes see like a petrol station. That word for a gas station, have you guys seen that before? That's short for gas station, or that's short for petroleum. And it's because gasoline is made from petroleum.
You know, I thought that was the Australian way. I thought that was only the Australian way of saying gas station. Prove me wrong.
Well, I think it is more common in other countries like Australia. Maybe for those of you who visited India to see family, you might see it there as well, that it might be a petrol station instead of a gas station. I think in a lot of other parts of the country, they call it that instead. Or other parts of the world.
Because my family, we are not obsessed, but very close to being obsessed to this Australian show, cartoon show about it's a talking dog show. It's about and it's a cartoon. It's called Bluey, and everybody there is a talking dog, and it's Australian, and a lot of them they
Sounds
say
like Rishith is a fan, and they talk
and
about
they
petrol.
say no, it's not only about petrol. They just mention
Okay, I'm sorry. I've got to cut you off, Tig.
petrol a lot.
Okay, very good. So yeah, you've probably seen that before, and now you know that it's how we get gasoline. And so when you see that for a gas station, that makes sense. So we're going to think to spell this word petroleum. Petroleum, let's just sound it out as petroleum. Say it with me. Petroleum. 3 or 4 syllables. Excuse me. First syllable, pet, is basic code. Next syllable, row, O isn't an open syllable saying its name. Petrole, E isn't an open syllable saying its name. And final syllable, is basic code. That's right. Petroleum. Pick up your pencil and write it. If you're sounding it out correctly, it should be pretty straightforward to write it. No double consonants. There are no double consonants in this word. Petroleum. Hold up your paper when you're done. Marcus and Arshab, it looks like maybe you're not writing. Make sure you're writing the word petroleum and holding it up when you're done. Great. Thank you so much, Arshab. Thank you, Alexander, Tig, Aryanch. Erika, let me see your word, sweetie. Rishith, let me see your word as well. Great job. Thank you so much, Harika. Okay, let's go over it. Pet, syllable break. Row, syllable break. Lee, syllable break. Petroleum. Excellent job if you spelled it correctly. If you made a mistake, cross it out and rewrite it. Please don't erase. Samhita, could you mark it for us?
Yes, please. Pet is but
Basic code.
basic code. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Good.
Roll the second syllable. You have to underline the O.
Excellent.
The third syllable, we have to underline the E.
That's right.
And then I don't think there are any other markings.
That's correct. The first and last syllables are basic code. This one is also a noun. Yes, Aryansh?
This might not make any sense at all, but this is a way that you can remember how to spell petroleum. So you're petting a rolling de Leon, like Juan Ponce de Leon. You're petting him while he's rolling. I think so. You could think that.
I like it. Whatever works for you. Good to have those little stories and visuals. Okay. So let's go ahead and do our very last word. Our last word of the lesson today is suitcase. Suitcase. This is a compound word. We talked about compound sentences yesterday, and we're going to keep talking about those. Compound words are just two words that could stand on their own, but we're joining them together. So suit and case. Why do you think a suitcase is called a suitcase? Ty?
Because when you're traveling, you can put your it's like a case with wheels on it, and you can put your suits in it.
That's exactly right. Even though, you know, you don't have to pack a suit, but I'm sure that's what it was originally for. It was a case for your suits.
It's true. My suitcase has two pockets, one for toys and the other for toys
Clothes.
and books that I want to bring along, and the other for clothes.
Nice. That makes sense that at your age, you would do clothes and books or clothes and toys or a combination. So suitcase. For the word suit, we're going to use the oo phonogram that we wrote this morning that's in the word fruit. Okay? So suitcase. Case is case with a silent final lead, job one. Please pick up your pencil and write suitcase. Compound word, just joining suit and case. Suit and case. Thank you so much for holding it up when you're done. Deekshita, it looks like maybe you forgot that in gasoline, there's just one S. Can you switch that? Okay, let's write it. Suit, syllable break, case, suitcase. Alexander, would you mark the word for us?
Sure. Then can I tell you something after?
Yes.
So the UI is underlined.
Good. We call this
Sorry,
ooh.
not UI.
Yeah, I know, boys and girls, this one is especially tricky for a lot of people. Can you all say ooh? Ooh.
Just do?
Ooh. Yeah,
Just
my
Ooh.
nickname is Ooh, just
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's why I like to sing sometimes. And then we get nibble, underline the E, job, suitcase. 5?
It's a job. Oh, actually, that's a good point. I would call it a job 1, but it's also a job 5 because of that S. Good call.
Yay. Okay. And then I just want to say it's a suit. No. Yeah, it's a suit, a suit with a case. So just a suit with a case. Suitcase.
That's right. Okay, boys and girls, that's all for your spelling words. We will write these in cursive. And also for cursive practice, I'm going to do a little quote from Farmer Boy from your reading yesterday. I see Alina already wrote her words beautifully in cursive. You have such excellent cursive, Alina. Okay, our quote from Farmer Boy that I want us to write is, when the days begin to lengthen, the cold begins to strengthen. Do you all remember that from Farmer Boy yesterday in your reading? Yeah, what did that mean? Emma, do you remember what it meant? The days begin to lengthen, the cold begins to strengthen.
The days get longer, but it's still very getting cold.
That's right. So the days are getting longer because after the first day of winter solstice, there's like more and more sunlight basically, but it's actually getting colder and colder, which is why like in Arkansas, January and February are usually colder than December, right? We've had some really cold days in January and February, but then it starts to suddenly warm up again in about March. So when the days begin to lengthen, the days are getting longer, the cold begins to strengthen. Can you all say that? When the days begin to lengthen, the cold begins to strengthen. We're going to write that in cursive for our cursive practice today. Okay, so I'm going to put quotation marks around it to begin with. Quotation marks are used for a few different purposes, but one is for when we are writing words from a book or from another person. Now, these are exactly from Farmer Boy, so we want to put quotation marks around it. So we're going to write capital W like this, and it does not connect to other letters. When the days begin to lengthen, sorry, I'm going to cross that out and rewrite it below so that there's more space. Comma, the cold begins to strengthen. Period, and in the quotation marks. Marcus, it looks like you're not writing. You're going to have to write this later and watch the video if you don't do it now, and I'd hate for you to do that. Excellent job, Alina. Now, this is actually also a great example of a complex sentence, which we were talking about yesterday. When the days begin to lengthen, the cold begins to strengthen. When the days begin to lengthen, that's got a subject and predicate, but does that make sense on its own? When the days begin to lengthen. Could I just leave it at that? When the days begin to lengthen. Nope, doesn't make much sense. It needs more. So we add the cold begins to strengthen. I'm going to write complex sentence next to it because that's a great example of one. And I'd love for you to do the same. We're going to be continuing to talk about those this week. And that's a very good example of a complex sentence. Great job, Ariansh. Excellent job, Arshab. Do you want me to zoom in a little bit? I see you kind of leaning in. I'd be happy to zoom in if that helps. Marcus? Should see you writing in cursive. And hold it up as soon as you're done, everybody. Great work, Tig. Your cursive's looking so good.
Thanks.
Is it feeling more and more comfortable?
Other than my hand kind of hurting after I write a couple sentences in it, yes, it does.
Yeah, that makes sense that maybe your hand hurts after a little bit. Ariansh, did you have a question? I see your hand up. Nope, okay. When the days begin to lengthen, the cold begins to strengthen. Oh, Ariansh, that is gorgeous penmanship. Wonderful. Alina, that looks so great. Well done. Everyone show me your quote when you're done. This is a wonderful quote. We will continue doing quite a few Farmer Boy quotes. Oh, great job, Alexander. Excellent, Harika. That looks so good. So we'll do that a few times a week. Have a good Farmer Boy quote to write. Okay, Josiah, thank you so much. Rishith, it looks like maybe you're stuck. Are you still writing?
Can you move it to the, yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I'm already done.
Rishith, can you show it to me then? When the days begin to lengthen, the cold begins to strengthen. Good job, Rishith. Can you also write complex sentence next to it? I want everyone to do that to show that it's an example of a complex sentence. Excellent, Samhita and Arshab. Oh, you all have wonderful cursive. I am so proud of you guys. I'll probably add a cursive assignment to Bright Thinker sometime this week too of, you know, whatever we're doing in our class time to upload it. So hopefully you're keeping it all in your binder. You're just ready to go. I might do that for tomorrow. Marcus, can you show me your work, please? Marcus, you are going to do great at this, but you've got to persevere, okay? Don't just give up. We will fulfill commitments and not give up on or act on discouragement, okay? Thank you so much, Kruti. Okay, Alexander, it looks like you are not writing in cursive. You're not writing your quote. Can you tell me what's wrong? I mean, Marcus, I think I said Alexander. Marcus, can you tell me what's wrong? You did. Sorry, I misspoke, Alexander. Marcus, are you having a hard time with your cursive? Is that what's happening? Yeah. Have you watched all the videos where I taught you each of the letters? Yeah, and you're still having a hard time with it? Boys and girls, let's move on to some grammar time now. We are going to be looking over compound, complex, and simple sentences. You'll need your binder still for this, so you can keep your binder out. Because I want us to write some examples of each of these types of sentences. We're also going to use some colored pencils to show the different types of clauses. So please take out some colored pencils or crayons if you have them. Okay, Marcus, we're going to keep moving forward. So don't get discouraged just because that was hard. Let's keep moving forward, okay? Open up to a new page in your binder, everybody. So everybody have some colored pencils or crayons? That's going to really help for the types of clauses. Great. Yes, Alexander?
I think my dad's on a call. I mean, he is on a call and the crayons are in there, so I only got a few colors in here, so I'm just gonna.
You're gonna be totally fine because you only need 2 colors, and if you don't have those 2 colors, it's okay. You can do it later.
What colors do we need?
It doesn't matter which 2. It's just 2 colors to make sure that the 2 things we're going to write about look different.
Okay.
Okay, good question. So we are going to be writing some examples of simple, compound, and complex sentences. But before we get to that, I want us to just do a little bit of quick work identifying some types of sentences, if you can think about it. Okay, now here is sentence 1. The children wore their dirty boots. It already says that is simple. We only have 1 subject and 1 predicate, right? Just a simple sentence. The next one says, it was time for bed, yet it was still light outside. Now, this is either compound or complex. Which one do you think it is, Aryansh?
Complex, because the first part of the sentence doesn't make sense on its own.
It was time for bed is a clause, and then it was still light outside is a different clause. And yet is one of the conjunctions that makes it dependent. So yeah, it's not going to stand on its own. It's complex. Good job.
I forgot what compound and complex.
That's okay, sweetie. We're going to write about it in our notes today. So the front door was locked, so she entered through the back. Actually, let me skip over to this one, number 11. We turned off the lights and we went to sleep. And is a conjunction that just joins together 2 independent clauses. It's one of the most common ones. That's an example of a compound sentence, right? Because we have that conjunction and. Okay, now it's okay if this is still confusing to you. We are going to be spending more time on it this week going over the difference between these 3, and you're not going to take any quizzes or tests over it. This will help you, I think, for some tests that you have coming up like MAP and ACT Aspire though, okay? Let's write in our binder once again. We should be writing in our binder. Yes, Tyke?
What's that test you were talking about after the map test? It was like a something.
Yeah, ACT Aspire. It is a test that you'll take for the first time as third graders. In April or May, you'll take it.
What's
And
it about?
it's kind of like, it's similar to the map test that you take. You'll do a math section, you'll do reading, some grammar, even a writing test. So kind of like map. You'll actually come into school to do it, though, rather than for map, just doing it at home. And every third grader across the country will also take it.
Oh. So we are actually going to school this year, but only for a couple hours.
At least one time. Yep. Kriti?
Do we have to do like all the math and reading in one day, or then do it on separate days?
That's a really good question. I actually do not know yet. I think that it will be multiple days, because that's what it's always been before, but I don't know what the virtual schedule is.
Does that mean that every day that if it's multi-day, then every day for a couple, then every day for who knows how long we'll be, instead of taking this class, we'll be at the school at our desks taking the test?
I don't know what it's going to look like yet. Probably it means that there would be several days of not doing any classes like this. And there are just different people coming into school, kind of like on map days.
Oh.
I think so. Okay.
Whoa!
Boys and girls, we are going to take some notes on each of the types of sentences. I'm going to write these in print so that for those of you who are having a hard time with your cursive or are just really slow with it, you can follow me in just writing it in print. But if you are just as fast in cursive, go ahead and do it in cursive. Okay, so we've got, first of all, a simple sentence. Actually, on the very top, I'll write 3 types of sentences. There are 3 types of sentences. There's simple as the first one. Should see everybody writing what's on my page, also on your page. Let me see your pencils in hand, everybody writing. Great job. Marcus, if you don't do this work now, that means you're going to have to do it later. And I would hate for you to do that because that's going to mean more work for you. Thank you so much. Okay, so 3 types of sentences. The first kind is simple. There is only one subject and one predicate in a simple sentence. For example, I could say, since it's Alina's birthday, we'll say Alina went to her party. That is a simple sentence. We've got a subject, Alina, and a predicate verb, went. Alina?
Well, actually, I will have a party on Friday. Actually, I will have one.
Nice. Okay, now boys and girls, choose one of your colors. I'm going to underline this all in red. And it doesn't matter if you don't have a red. We're just going to make sure that we have 2 colors and we always keep them separate. This red is going to stand for an independent clause because it can stand on its own. Alina went to her party. Makes sense on its own. Now let's write about a compound sentence. A compound sentence is something like this. I'll use the one of them from yesterday. The boys went to the park. But they did not go to the zoo. This has two independent clauses. The boys went to the park. I'm going to underline that in red. And I'm also going to underline this in red. They did not go to the zoo. We're not going to underline but. That is what we call a conjunction. And I want you to write down here some of those conjunctions. For, and, nor, but, yet are some conjunctions. That we're going to use to join two independent clauses. And is the most common, probably. Marcus, I need you to write, bud. Once again, you're going to have to write it later if you don't do it now. And I would hate for you to do that. Look at your classmates. You've got to keep up with them. Okay, so that's a compound sentence. The last type of sentence is a complex sentence. Yes, Alexander?
I was just wondering, are we supposed to run the compound for a simple sentence and then compound sentence the same color? So like for you, red
Yes.
and red, for me, blue and blue.
Great question. Yeah, if you used blue here, then you want to use blue again for all of these. All of this should be the same color. I'll tell you when to start a new color.
Okay.
Great question. Okay, so for a complex sentence, we could say something like, because the boys went to the park. Comma, they did not go to the zoo. Because the boys did not go to the park, because the boys went to the park, they did not go to the zoo. Now, this is a set of a subject predicate and another subject predicate, but one of these does not stand on its own. Which one does not stand on its own? Samhita?
Because the boys went to the park.
That's right. That one doesn't make sense on its own. Even though it has a subject and predicate, it doesn't make sense because it needs extra. So we're going to do this in a new color. For me, it's green. So I've got green, but just make sure it's a different color than what you did before. And then this is going to be still red for me. So whatever you used before, we're going to use that again for this part. Okay? Now, at the very bottom, one other thing I'm going to do is add a little key. Red stands for independent clause. Green stands for dependent clause. If you didn't use green and red, just make sure that whatever was color 1 for you that you used for like your simple sentence, that's the color that should be independent clause. And the other one is going to be dependent clause. Okay. Everyone, please hold up your paper when you're done with this. I know that was somewhat fast. Hopefully you're just barely behind me. Great job, Tig. Make sure you've got your color coding so that you can see the types of clauses.
I'm 100% caught up.
Excellent. Okay, and then we're going to be right on track for just doing a couple of roots and some orthography. Great job, Arianch and Alexander. Make sure this stays in your binder. We're going to actually add a little bit more and refer back to it later on this week. Arshab, can you show me your paper? Great job. Thank you so much. Harika, can you show me yours? Great job, Josiah. Oh, Saha Nasri, that looks so nice and neat. I love that. You guys did so well. Marcus, if you didn't do it, I'm just going to have to let your mom know that you'll have to watch the video later to complete it, okay? Because we can't slow down anymore. Okay, boys and girls, we have a little more to do for literacy. We've got some roots, and we are going to do just writing our words in orthography. So go ahead and take those two things out. But feel free to stretch, eat a snack, get some water as we transition, okay? I know that was a lot of writing, so you might stretch your fingers out too. Take some time to stretch. Okay, we are going to learn 2 new derivatives for Yungo Yunctum. You guys remember what it means? That word from yesterday, Yungo Yunctum. It looks like Samhita does. Looks like Kruthi's maybe looking through her index cards. You might take a look through your index cards and remind yourself of what Yungo Yunctum is. Yes, Samhita?
Join, connect.
Very good. Join, connect. Yungo Yunctum. So join was the first derivative. Or join, unite, connect. Yep, you're right, Alexander. Unite was part of it. Now, something that we just looked at with grammar is that there are some conjunctions that combine 2 clauses. That word conjunction actually comes from this word Yungo Yunctum. Can you all write conjunction? I'll go ahead and write it with you. We're going to be learning about that conjunctions in well-ordered language soon. All of these are conjunctions. For, and, nor, but, and yet.
Miss Gardner, I colored my conjunctions, and then I put that color where we did the independent and dependent sentences, so that I just know that that's a conjunction.
That's so great. Wonderful thought. So junk comes from junctum. Conjunction is a word joining two parts of a sentence. It can connect two clauses like that one of the boys went to the park, but they did not go to the zoo. Or it can join like two subjects that we're going to hear about soon, like Arianch and Alexander played with their Pokemon cards, for example. You don't like Pokemon? Sorry, Arianch. I'm just giving an example. So two people, that conjunction and joins them. Yes, Arianch?
Can interjunction be one?
Oh, very good question. Now, interjection actually does not. It's it comes from that one that we had recently, yakyo, yaktum, which is like to throw, eject, project. It sounds like it, though. It definitely sounds like it. Now, something that does come from it that we're going to write about is this junction part. Do you know what a junction is? Like a train junction? Has anybody heard of that? Tig?
It's like this thing that connects two train cars together.
But it's this crossing in the railway, actually.
Oh, whoops.
It might connect cars, but yeah, I think it's mainly just that crossing in the railway, like when it goes two different directions. There's actually a fun song called Conjunction Junction, which is a song for remembering what a conjunction is.
Can we listen to it?
Yeah, if we have time after this, we'll go ahead and listen to that. Conjunction, junction. So junction, I'm going to even draw a picture to show. Like a railway crossing is a point of connection railway crossing. I'll go ahead and write those in the chat. Conjunction, junction. Conjunction is a word joining two parts of a sentence, and junction is a point of connection, railway crossing. I'll have that song in the background so you can listen to it. Yes, Kruthi?
I think I have a word for our roots.
I'm going to pause the song for a second. Go ahead.
Is one of them injection?
Ooh, so injunction, I think you're thinking of interjection. And that is such a good question. It sounds similar to conjunction, but it actually is not a derivative of this. But very good thought. So this is a little song that tells you basically what the conjunctions are. That's saying and, but, nor. Let me go ahead and show you guys.
And that's an additive like this and that. But that's sort of the opposite. Not this, but that. And then there's or. When you have a charge like this or that. And but nor get you pretty far.
Conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Here's a junction.
Hooking up two boxcars and making them run right. Milk and honey, bread and butter, peas and rice.
Hey, that's nice.
Dirty but happy, digging and scratching, losing your shoe and a button or two. He's poor but honest, sad but true. Boo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Hooking up two cars to one when you say something like this. Choice, either now or later, or no choice. Neither now nor ever.
Hey, that's clever.
Eat this or that, grow thin or fat. Never mind, I wouldn't do that. I'm fat enough now.
Conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Hooking up phrases and clauses that balance like out of the frying pan and into the fire. He cut loose the sandbags, but the balloon wouldn't go any higher. Let's go up.
Okay, I'll have to stop it there because we don't have time for the whole thing. But when we learn more about conjunctions in well-ordered language, maybe we'll play that one again. It is a cute little song that maybe some of you guys have seen some of those Schoolhouse Rock. They're really old videos, but they still have been popular for a long time. So that tells us about those conjunctions. Okay, let's quickly take out our orthography notebook to write down the words from today's lesson, and then we'll get started on some math where we're going to hear about measuring weight. So hopefully some of you have scales at home that you're able to use with today's lesson. How many of you have a scale at home? Nice. Okay, let's write the words from today's lesson. Lesson 82.
Miss Garner, I have a joke that's like similar to what math is.
Okay, let's hear it.
What's the heaviest part of a fish?
Heaviest part of a fish. Something about its I don't know, what?
It's scales.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, nice. Tyka's got a scale right there. So even if you aren't able to use it during class today, hopefully you'll use it later on. I see Josiah's got his measuring tape. Very good. We are actually not going to be talking about length and distance today. We're going to be talking about weight, mass. Okay, actually, for the sake of time, we're going to close up our orthography notebooks, and on your own after class, please write your words, okay? On your own after class. Yes, ma'am? Yes, ma'am. Lesson 82. You've got all those words in your binder, so just write them over in orthography. Immediate, gasoline, petroleum, and suitcase. So let's talk about weight, about finding mass. Go ahead and take a moment to get a scale if you have one. I sent a message to your parents several days ago that we would be talking about weight, and so they should hopefully have maybe gotten you a scale to use today if you have one that you can use. If you don't have it for class today, you can still maybe use it after class when you're doing your homework. At school right now, I've got a little kitchen scale, which is good for using it to find measurement or weight of small items. But some of you might have a scale to stand on for measuring heavier items. Okay, so we are going to be talking about weight today. You are going to use your workbook and notebook for today. And I see some of you got a scale. Excellent. Ariansh, is that the one for your baby brother?
Yes, and it can be in grams and pounds.
Nice. So we're going to be talking about grams today since that's part of the metric system. But next week, we're going to talk about pounds. So that's going to be helpful for that unit.
And it also has ounces.
Great. Okay, boys and girls, we are going to be taking some notes, but first I want to take a look at some images of things that are approximately a gram versus a kilogram versus milligrams we're going to talk about as well. So for this section, you can just sort of sit back and watch. I'll let you know when it's time for us to start writing, okay? Looks like we might be missing Harika, Rishith, and Ariansh. Hopefully they come back in just a moment. There's Ariansh. Okay, Harika and Rishith. Maybe they're finding their scale. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Oh, nice. Sahanasri's got a scale. Excellent. Okay, I'll let you know when we can start using that. So, units of measurement. Arshav, could you read this part for us?
The most common units of measurement for mass are grams and kilograms.
Excellent. Actually,
gram
keep going
is-
with the gram.
A gram is very light. These items weigh approximately 1 gram. A kilogram is 1,000 grams. These items weigh approximately 1 kilogram.
Good. Okay, so those are the types of items that would be about a gram. So like a pencil or paper clip, those types of items are about a gram. Now, if you placed one of those on a scale, you probably wouldn't even, nothing would even register, right? Like I've got this little kitchen scale here. And if I put a pencil in the top, it doesn't even really register it. So since it's so light, but there are some scales to measure really tiny things that weigh very, very little. Some kitchen scales will work especially well for that, where it would measure even with milligrams, which is going to be a 1,000th of a gram. Just like a millimeter is 1,000th of a meter. Yes, Alexander?
Ashley is kind of doing, this has to kind of do with my project I'm doing.
Oh, what's your project?
So there's a balloon that my mom got for his birthday. I'm trying to measure it because I'm like, there's this little clip on it. I'm clipping things on it to see if it's light enough to go up or down.
Oh, very nice. Okay, so it's good to have these visuals of about 1 gram versus about 1 kilogram, etc. We'll be using a picture of a scale like this throughout the unit quite a bit. Here I've got some hand sanitizer. As you can see, when you place it on the scale, it goes from 0 to not quite 1 kilogram. That would be 1 kilogram or 1,000 grams. Instead, it's about, it looks like 600 grams. So less than 1 kilogram, a little over 500, it's about 600 grams is how you would read the scale and see that. 1 kilogram, as you can see there, is about 7 apples or some milk, like a 1 liter of milk, or some bread. That's about 1 kilogram. 1 watermelon, watermelons are pretty heavy, would weigh about 6 kilograms. Ariansh, do you know like how much your baby brother weighs?
We measure him in pounds. So he would be, I think he's like 14 or 15 pounds.
14 or 15 pounds, nice. So pounds and kilograms are pretty close. Our pounds are the closest thing to compare to kilograms, but he would be less in actually kilograms. Oh, that's all for the images actually. Okay, if you all have a scale nearby, I want you all to take a moment to stand on that. Ariansh, I'm not sure if you can stand on yours. If you are not able to, since it's a baby scale, find an object nearby that might be about the weight of your baby brother and put an object on that to see how much you would weigh in kilograms or how much that object weighs in kilograms. So let's practice that. If you have a scale and have some time to share about how much something weighs in kilograms.
According to my scale, I weigh 100.2 pounds.
Okay, so how much is that in kilograms? Can you see that in kg is what it would say for kilograms? Does it have that?
No.
No, okay, that's fine. So that's one that just measures in pounds, and it's going to be super helpful next week when we talk about standard measurement.
And the thing I feel guilty about is that I just finished 2 pieces of cinnamon sugar bread.
No, you are a growing boy. You need to eat. Okay, just out of curiosity, I'll use this converter to see about how much you're in kilograms versus pounds, which is about half. It's always going to be close to half. So you are about 45 kilograms, Tig. If you're 100 pounds or so, you're about 45 kilograms. Dikshita?
Is it fine if we use measuring tape?
Measuring tape measures length and distance. We're talking about measuring weight. How much does something weigh? If you don't have a scale, that's okay. It's just more helpful to have a scale. Okay, Ariansh, did you measure something with your brother's scale?
Okay.
I weighed myself. I have a scale
Nice.
in the big bedroom.
Okay.
So it was in pounds. So I just changed it to kilograms. And in kilograms, I weighed 25.6 pounds. No, kilograms, sorry.
Yes. Okay, very nice. Preeti, let's hear from you as well.
In pounds, I weigh 56.5.
Okay. Preeti?
I weigh 30.2 kilograms.
Nice. So yours already says what it is in kilograms. So if it's 30.2, that means it's 30 kilograms and 200 grams. The 0.2 is 200 grams. 200, once again, grams are the little tiny ones of measurement like a pin lid. Okay, boys and girls, let's hear from Rishith, and then I'm going to have you open up your math notebook. We're going to write some notes on grams and kilograms.
75.8.
Pounds, I'm assuming? So in kilograms, it's about half of that. So maybe about 37 kilograms. Okay, boys and girls. So we are going to be talking about weight today and writing some notes on it. And once you know the kilo, centi, milli, all of those roots, it's going to be easy to use with grams as well, because we're still going to have that kilo, which means 1,000, and milli, which means 1,000th in this unit. Okay, let's write our heading at the top of our page. This is March 9th. Lesson 11.3. I should see everybody writing this in your math notebook. Oops, sorry. Math and then lesson 11.3. Come on, Marcus. Great job. So we wrote about metric system length. This is metric system weight. So I'm going to write that at the top. Metric system weight. And there are less terms to remember for weight than we had for length. Basically, the main one we need to think of is gram, which we abbreviate just with a lowercase g, 1 gram. Now, 1 gram is equal to 1,000 milligrams. Milli should always make you think of something teeny tiny. It takes 1,000 little tiny milligrams to measure 1 gram. We abbreviate milligrams as mg. So if a pen lid is about 1 gram, then milligrams would be for teeny tiny things like a grain of sand maybe, or a strand of hair, things that would weigh very, very little. Or some flour, like a little bit of flour. So 1 gram equals 1,000 milligrams. 1 kilogram, 1 kilogram, we abbreviate as kg, equals 1,000 grams. Okay, so those are the only 3 things you need to know: milligrams, grams, and kilograms for this part of the unit. Milligram is the tiniest. 1,000 little milligrams make 1 gram. 1,000 grams make 1 kilogram. Arshav, are you having a hard time seeing it? Make sure you're writing, please.
Here, okay, I got 1 gram in the first thing, but your camera's turning off and on a little.
Is that happening for anybody else? Okay, I'm not sure what the problem is, Arshav. Did you pin it?
Okay.
So we are going to be talking about converting grams to kilograms, grams to milligrams, and so on, just like we've been doing with length and distance. Okay, so let's take a look at kilograms and grams. It says we use grams to find the mass of items that are less than 1 kilogram. So if 1 kilogram is like 7 apples, well, grapes are not quite that heavy. So we're going to use probably grams to measure that. Actually, this one has a mass of 1 kilogram. This shows us a scale very similar to this one, where you've got the red marks for kilograms. So this is 0. This is half of a kilogram. This is 1 kilogram. And so that means that all of these show grams: 100 grams, 200 grams, 300, 400, 500, all the way to 1,000 grams, which is the same as 1 kilogram. Just like in this one. In this scale, we've got 0 kilograms here. This shows 1 kilogram. And all of these, like 200G, 400, and 600, and 800, those tell you where things would weigh in grams. And it just goes like that. Now, I know it's a little bit confusing, but on the other side, sorry, this is actually in pounds. I got that confused. The inside part is in pounds. The outside part is in kilograms, since it takes 1,000 grams to equal 1 kilogram. Then here's 2 kilograms, 3, 4, and 5. In your scales in the book, it's not going to confuse that. There's not going to be a mixture of pounds and kilograms. Okay, but just make sure that you know between 0 and 1 kilograms, we count in grams. So it says here, each small marking on this scale stands for another 100 grams. So it's counting up by 100 grams all the way until you get to 1,000 grams. Here's a very similar scale used to measure the weight of a pencil bag. How much does the pencil bag weigh? How much does this pencil bag weigh, Harika?
The pencil bag weighs 5 kilogram. 5 grams.
Not 5 grams, but 5
Kilograms?
500 grams.
500 grams.
Good. 500 grams is half of a kilogram. So see, it goes from 0 all the way back to 1 kilogram. And this is halfway, which is 500 grams. And this one, since it measures smaller masses, instead of counting by 100 grams for every little tiny mark, 100 grams, instead, each mark stands for another 10 grams. So 10 all the way to maybe, I think this is 100. No. 100, 200, 250, 300, 400, 500. So for small items like a pencil bag, you might use a scale like this. And in that case, it measures with little tiny 10-gram increments. That's the same as this type of scale for the carrot. These carrots are going to weigh less than 1 kilogram. What do they weigh? Notice that this is 500. What do they weigh? Aryansh?
They weigh 600 grams.
Perfect. If that's 500 grams, this is 600 grams. We're going up by 50 each time with the red lines. Now the pumpkin over here, let's see, we've got 0, 250, 500, 750. Once again, we're counting by 50 with the red lines. So how much does the pumpkin weigh, Alexander?
850 grams.
Perfect. Well done. Okay, now we would use kilograms to find the mass of items that are more than 1 kilogram, like a watermelon. Watermelon is quite heavy. So we would use a scale like this, which goes from 0 to 1 to 2. Do you remember how our last one only went to 1 kilogram? So it went up by 10. Well, this one goes right up to 1 kilogram right here. So what does each line equal, would you say? Are we counting up by 10, 50, 100? What does each little line show us? Rishith, can you unmute yourself and tell us what you think? So if this is 0 kilograms and this is 1 kilogram, which is 1,000, what are we going up by?
One.
Not 1, but 100. Do you see that? Each small marking stands for 100 grams. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. There are 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. Does that make sense? So we're going up by 100 grams each time. Let's use a scale like that to measure the weight of the cabbage and then the apples. Who can tell me how much this cabbage weighs if we're going up by 100 each time? Is it more than 1 kilogram? Yes, it's 1 kilogram. And how many grams? Sahanasri?
1.5.
Good, 1.5, which is 1 kilogram and 500 grams. This one of the apples is past the 2, but not to the 3 yet. It's 2 kilograms and 300 grams is how we would measure that. Okay, now I know we're almost out of time. This is a lot to pack into one lesson. But the last thing that you're going to do for your homework is to convert just like we've been doing with measurement for grams. For example, if we have 1 kilogram and 250 grams, and 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams, in just grams, it's 1,250 grams. Are any of you feeling overwhelmed by this right now? Okay, you know what, boys and girls, I'm going to switch up what you're going to do for your math pages so that you are going to just spend some time identifying items, and we're not going to get to converting them yet. Okay, so just do page 31. Okay, rather than 31 to 33, or 34 is what you're supposed to do. We're just going to do page 31 for today, which is measuring items, knowing what they weigh from a scale. Okay, we're switching it up. Okay, boys and girls, that might mean that we have quite a bit to do Wednesday and Thursday, but I don't want to overwhelm you with this right now. So we're just going to stick with page 31 only in your math workbook, okay? Okay, boys and girls, I will edit that in Bright Thinker. And that is all for now. Remember to write your words in orthography after class today. And other than that, I'm going to have just my reading group stay with me. You have page 31 in your math workbook and your orthography notebook to do as soon as you're finished, okay? Boys and girls, have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.